welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to make some hand warmer gloves. Now these are basically fingerless gloves, but they also cover the wrists. So you might want to call them a wrist warmer, or you might want to call them hand warmers as well. That little bit longer than your normal fingerless gloves. So today you're going to need some chunky yarn. I've got this Pebble. It's called Pebble. It's a gorgeous yarn. I'm a big fan of it. I've used pretty much every colour you can. And I'm actually doing a customer order while I'm doing this tutorial. So this is for Susan. So she's going to get these gloves when they're finished. You're going to need a 6.5 crochet hook. You're going to need some scissors, and you're also going to need a darning needle. You've got your short end of your yarn here, long end at this side. You want to put your short end behind your finger like this. You then cross it over, take the longer length over your finger, pull the loop over the end of your finger, and then you can put it onto your hook. That's the way I do it, but there are plenty of ways. Now we're going to chain 20. There we go. So I've got my chain of 20, and I'm going to join this end to this end with a slip knot. So make sure it is not twisted. Put it through the last stitch, and then you're basically going to slip stitch it together. So yarn over, pull your yarn through, so you've now got it joined like that. So you've got a circle, and that's how we're starting. Now this is actually going to be on this part of the hand, so it's going to be up here. So now we've got our first circle here. What we're going to do is chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to work through all of these hoops with a double crochet. So yarn over. For this one, I'd actually like you to go just the top of the loop of your chain. Just the top of the loop. You can often go through 2, depending on what your project is. But we're going to just do the top loop there of each stitch, of each chain. So yarn over through the top of your loop, grab your yarn, pull it back, yarn over through, yarn over through. So we've got a double crochet, and we're going to do that all the way around. So same again, yarn over through the top of the chain, yarn over and through like this. So we're creating double crochets all the way around. Now the size I'm making today is for an adult. But if you do want to adjust the size, that's perfectly fine. It's just going to mean either more or less chains to begin with, and then more or less rows to fit the hand. Now this is a pattern that I came up with myself. It's not a pattern I found anywhere else, because I like the shape of it. Rather than just having a long piece and then sewing down the side with a hole, I wanted something to be a little bit more encasing around the hand. Don't know if that's the right word, encasing. Probably not. So I'm still working my way around. We're nearly there. When we fully get round, we're going to slip stitch it together, but not quite there yet. Right, so we're now going to slip stitch our ends together. So you go through the top of this first double crochet. So not through the stitch. You could if you want, but I like to go beside it there. Grab your yarn, pull it through your hoop, and it joins it together like that. Now we're going to do another row, but we're going to switch and go the other way. So 2 chains on your hook, so chain 2, twist or turn your work, and we're going to go the other way, and we're going to be going into the top of the stitches, so you've got 2 above your hook. Yarn over, through, so you can see 2 stitches, grab your yarn, through and through. So we're not going through this part, we're going through the top. I'll do it again. Yarn over, through here, so you've got 2 across, grab your yarn, through 2, and we're going to work all the way around again. Now normally I would do 2 rounds before creating a split for the thumb, but in this case this customer has asked for it slightly longer over the knuckles, so we're going to do 3 rows before the split for the thumb. So you'll probably want to just do 2 rows before we separate it. I'll show you what I mean when we get round. Now with YouTube, you can pause the video. You can also make it go faster and slower. So if you miss anything, you can catch up on what you've missed. Now mine is variegated yarn, so I'm not going to be changing colours. But if you wanted to change colour at the end of rows, you absolutely could do. Okay, so as you can see, we're back round again. So we're going to slip stitch together through the top again, so through there, grab your yarn, pull it back. So now we've got those 2 first rows. Now here is when I want you to do your separation for a thumb, but I'm not doing that in this case because the customer wants a longer portion over the knuckles and also a longer portion at the wrist. So it's entirely up to you, to be honest. If you want to do slightly longer here, you can. Normally I would do 2, which fits quite nicely, so it fits there. But she wants 3, we're going that little bit higher. What I'm going to do now is chain 2, switch direction, and I'm going back the other way to add the 3rd row. Nearly round. Slip stitch at the end as before if you're doing the 3rd row. Now I like this bit, that very first row, to be flat. It's entirely up to you, but you see how it's going different directions because we're switching it over each time. I like it flat for that first one. I'll show you what I mean. If I put it onto my hand, you can see that's got a ridged sort of row. So I like to turn it inside out at this point. And you can see how that one hugs the hand a little bit more. And I prefer it that way around. So from now on, we're going to create the thumb space. So you've either got your 2 rows or your 3 rows. You're going to chain 2 and you're going to switch to go back the other way, but you'll see that there's a slight change when we get to the end because we're not going to be slip stitching it together. We're creating a hole for our thumb. Now this project should only take you about an hour, but with all new projects, if you've not done them before, it's probably going to take you quite a while longer. I've been doing these a while now, so I can get my speed up and I can do a pair of gloves in an hour. So you can see it creates this lovely ribbed effect. Creates a lot more texture in the gloves. And I like it. For larger hands, you probably want to chain 22 or 24 when you start, but I've got reasonably small hands, so I'm going for small to medium, being 20 chains to begin. Okay, so now we've got all the way back round again, you can see, but we're now leaving a space for the thumb hole, and we want to do 4 rows in total for our thumb hole. So we're going to chain 2. I don't know if it's the right terminology when I say thumb hole, but that's what I'm going with. So we're doing 4 rows before rejoining for our thumb space. So we're going back the other way after our 2 chains. Do bear in mind I'm using UK chunky sized yarn. So if you use anything smaller like a DK, you're definitely going to need more chains to begin. But a chunky would be between 20 and 24 starting chains. Okay, so we're round. We do 2 chains again. Flip back the other way. So we're turning his work on each row. Now we're going to do a 4th row before rejoining. 2 chains, turn your work back the other way. Okay, so that's your 4 rows. Now you'll notice that it's going in a little bit, but that's the hole to create the space for your thumb. Now what you might want to do at this point is just check your sizing. So it goes that way. So it just goes over the knuckles with 3. If you don't have 3 and you have 2, it stops on the knuckles. So it's up to you on the length, really. So now we're going to join together, which is the opposite side of your thumb here. And then we're going to add some more rows. So from here, you're going to chain 1, slip stitch into the other side, the top of your row, like this. Because your hand naturally gets wider, we need a little bit more space, which is why we're adding a chain stitch at the top here, an extra chain to just widen it out a little bit. So as before, we're going to chain 2, turn our work, and we're going back the other way. So you're going into the top of the chain, and then you're going to work your way round as before. And normally I would do 4 more rows to the end, but this customer wants a longer wrist covering, so I'm going to be adding probably 5 or 6. But we'll have a look when we've done it so we can check. A little bit fiddly, let's see where we are. Yep, so we're slip stitching together now. Top of that one, pull it through, there we are. Same again, 2 chains, turn your work and back the other way. And then after that, you could stop, but I'm doing longer length. So from here, you're going into this one, so that you can slip stitch those 2 pieces together, and we're going back round again. I really like how doing it this way, you get these lovely ridges on the gloves and a really nice cozy thumb hole. There is something that I want you to do with the thumb as well, right at the very end. So if you do choose to stop earlier, continue to watch to the end of the video so I can show how we neaten up the edges of the thumb space. Slip stitch together, and I'm going to put these on so I can show you what it looks like with just the two. There we are, with just the two rows here, 3 rows at the top. So there we are, that's what it looks like with your 3 above your thumb, 2 rows below. And if you wanted this nice smaller size, you could cut your yarn off here, and then we do a nice little row around here as well to finish. But as I've said, I'm doing a bit more. Probably said it about 5 times now. I'm doing a little bit more because she wants it longer, and then I'll show you how to neaten up around the thumb. So I think I'm going to go for another 2. So again, as before, chain 2, turn your work, and we're going to do 2 more rows. And then I'll see how far down the wrist it comes. I've been asked to make a penguin on my centro, so I'll probably be doing a tutorial for that as well in the future. So if you do want to make sure that you see any more tutorials that I create, feel free to subscribe and hit the like button so you don't miss any more videos. I'm going to slip stitch together. Oh, I'm trying to. There we go. Chain 2, turn my work. And this might be my last row, but we'll have a look, shall we? Now, as you'll probably notice if you're a intermediate or advanced crocheter, the way I hold my crochet hook and add the yarn is a little different, but I'm just really comfortable with doing it this way. Most people would hold the yarn like that and grab and pull, but I've just got into the habit of doing it like this. I've tried to change back, but I can't. I'm stuck with this technique, but I'm still getting the end product. Oops. Nearly round again. So we're slip stitching together for the last bit there. Right, let's have a look at how it looks. I think that's rather nice. So it goes down the wrist quite a way, nice and secure, keeps the wrist warm, keeps the hand warm. So I'm happy with that amount. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4 at the bottom, 3 rows at the top, and 4 for where the thumb is. So we're now going to trim our yarn. Just get my scissors. And you're going to pull the yarn through. Just tie it off like that. And we're going to tidy up the hole, the thumb space. Looks a little bit like a diamond right now. And we're going to tidy that up. So, and I want you to start at the bottom. So this more triangular flat part here. what would be the bottom of your thumb. That's where we're starting. And we're going to join our yarn in that middle one there. That's where we put that extra chain. Like that. So we've got our yarn in. And now we're going to do half double crochets all the way round. So one chain, yarn over, through this next hole, pull your yarn up, and all three, through all three, like that. We're going to do it again. Yarn over, through the next hole here, grab your yarn, through all three. And we're going to work our way around doing that. Now, when you get to these side parts, the side pieces of these double crochets, you want to add 2 half double crochets into each one. So yarn over, through, all three, yarn over, through, all three. The next one, yarn over, through, all three, yarn over, through, all three. Keep going, yarn over. There we are. So you can see we're getting this nice row. Again, through. And another one. Now as we're turning, you just want to put one in here. Yarn over, through, like that. So yarn over, then we'll go in the other side. So just one in the top. Yarn over through the other side, and we're doing 2 on each row. And we're nearly done. Obviously, this is only just the one glove. And gloves are a pair. So you're going to need to make 2 of these. But once you get your speed up, you should get them done in about an hour. Okay, I'm nearly round. Now you can see we've already got one in the bottom. So we're going to slip knot it together. Snip your yarn. Pull it through. And we're going to finish by sewing in our ends. So I like a metal yarn needle. So we're now going to thread it through so it can't be seen and it keeps it secure. I'm going to go through there. Ideally, you want to go backwards and forwards so it keeps it secure. Snip your yarn. Doing the other ones as well. So I've got one at the bottom, one at the top. I prefer to go up one rather than it being obvious in this bottom row. Snip me in, one more. So there we are, there is my glove one complete. Now you might want to reverse the video and watch it again so you can make the second one. So I'm going to get on with my second one now and show you the 2 finished gloves. If you do crochet any of your own gloves, feel free to let me know in the comments below. And feel free to check out my Facebook group where you can show me what else you're making.